Welcome. On behalf of the Baha'is of Pasadena and our local assembly, I can't tell you how thrilled we are to see our friends here to support us in a very serious human rights case. We are delighted to have this broad array of people, and as some of you may not know, who are the Baha'is? The Baha'is are members of the world's latest revealed religion. They believe simply in the oneness of God, the oneness of religion, and the oneness of mankind. And their belief is what we call progressive revelation. Every 500 to 1,000 years, a new messenger of God comes. It may be a Krishna, a Buddha, or Zoroaster, a Moses, a Jesus, a Muhammad. And that the latest in the succession of messengers is a man who proclaimed his message to the world in Iran in 1863. He simply said, all the prophets of God teach the same spiritual truths. The fatherhood of God, the brotherhood of man, the power of prayer, the golden rule. But the spiritual teachings need to be renewed, as well as the social teachings from age to age. And so I speak not as a member of the clergy. In the Baha'i faith, we have no clergy, but we have local and national assemblies around the world. And national assemblies in 182 countries, and Baha'is in over 100,000 localities in the world, almost as much as Christianity, but we're behind about 550. Now, in all of those localities, meetings such as this are taking place to seek the help of the world, and we are seeking the help of governments as well, to proclaim that the actions taken in imprisoning 7 Baha'is, 5 men and 2 women, because of their religious beliefs, with a penalty of death, because Baha'is are regarded as heretics, because they proclaim a message after Muhammad, and therefore they are not deemed worthy of living. Now, Baha'is have been persecuted since the time of the declaration of the faith of Baha'u'llah and by one who preceded him in 1844 to prepare the people for him. And in fact, in the late 1900s, 20,000 Baha'is were martyred because they were Baha'is. And just a few years ago in Shiraz, 17 women ages 13 to 87 were killed, chopped up in little pieces, and dragged through the streets, saying to the populace, this is what happens to Baha'is. And why should this be? Baha'u'llah proclaims the oneness of the world of humanity. He says this earth is but one country, and mankind its citizens. That we should abolish prejudice of all kinds. We should recognize the equality of women and men. We should have universal education. We should have a universal auxiliary language, a world government, and the like. That science and religion are in accord. If we don't think so, we're either being superstitious or materialistic. And our whole purpose in life is to serve mankind and to carry forward an ever-advancing civilization. So we thank you for joining us to support the Baha'is of Iran who have been imprisoned for their release. Now, they were arrested on March 28, 2008, and been held in the terrible Evin prison in Tehran. They're charged with, quotes, spreading corruption on earth. Under the penal code of the Islamic Republic of Iran, this charge carries the threat of death, and Amnesty International has stated that these 7 Baha'is are in imminent danger of execution because of their religious beliefs. Despite international pressure, the persecution of the Baha'is has intensified, and we are hoping that you will add your voice to the international call for the release of these 7 Baha'is. Just today, I was informed that the judicial arm in Iran has declared their trial shall take place next Tuesday. This despite the fact that they have arrested the Baha'i lawyer, whom the Baha'is have not been permitted to even see, and he is in prison, and Nobel laureate Shireen Ebadi, whom I was privileged to meet with in Chicago, is out of the country, and she would be the backup lawyer if they even permit a lawyer to come in to the trial. And so we are very hopeful that with worldwide support and worldwide interest and pressure, these Baha'is will be released. We would like to open with a prayer for unity by Mr. Sylvian Pastel-Devor.
O thou who art the Lord of lords, I testify that thou art the Lord of all creation and the educator of all beings, visible and invisible. I bear witness that thy power hath encompassed the entire universe, and that the hosts of earth can never dismay thee, nor can the dominion of all peoples and nations deter thee from executing thy purpose. I confess that thou hast no desire except the regeneration of the whole world and the establishment of the unity of its peoples and the salvation of all them that dwell therein.